Hi everyone, it's the 23rd of March 2018 in New Zealand, and today I want to talk about what you should expect from your obstetrician or from your midwife. When I gave birth in 1970, and as I and hundreds of families developed the Birthing Better Childbirth preparation courses, we were going through a big change in childbirth, not only in the United States but globally. There was definitely the message that why should women love their obstetricians? And do they love their obstetricians? And what I've realized from working with tens and thousands of people globally and teaching all over the world is that we love anybody who can help us have a safe birth and end up being healthy for ourselves and for our baby. Why shouldn't we love them? We honor them for being skilled. We don't feel skilled. We don't have their education usually. And pregnancy and childbirth more so than pregnancy, sits on that razor-thin edge between life and death. It doesn't mean that lots of women die in birth, very few do. It doesn't mean that lots of babies die in birth, very few do, compared to car accidents or cancer or heart problems or gunshot wounds. So the reality is that pregnancy does and birth still does sit on that razor-thin edge between life and death, or from wellness and having a problem. And that's the reality. So when we are in the hands and cared for by a skilled birth professional, of course we love them and we have gratitude for the skills they have. So the natural childbirth movement that was started really in the 50s and 60s, and then the next generation in the 70s and 80s, talked about the fact that obstetricians aren't delivering babies, women are birthing babies. And so midwives started to say they were catching babies, which I always had a cartoon in my head is that we were just sort of chucking them at them, or that the stork came and dropped them. So we were given this message from women, natural childbirth advocates, that we shouldn't love our obstetricians, that we were the ones birthing our baby. And we are. However, let me explain something about how we talk about each other. We say, I am going to give birth. I'm having a baby. So what do those verbs mean? Have and give. They don't mean anything, and they certainly don't imply in any way that we as women should or can be skilled to birth our baby. Whether an obstetrician is present or a midwife is present, or whether we're by the side of the rice paddy or in the backseat of a taxi, right? So we will always love somebody who is at our birth who helps us deliver our baby safely. And we don't care whether it's an obstetrician, a general practitioner, our husband, or a midwife, or anyone else. If someone else is at that birth, we have gratitude because we feel that they have helped us birth this baby in a safe manner. So is there a difference between obstetricians and midwives? Well, of course there is. I mean, really. There are nurse midwives who take postdoctoral or post-nursing degree in midwifery, and then there are what are called direct entry midwives. In New Zealand, where our trust is, it's all direct entry, so you don't have to be a nurse in order to be a midwife. You have a 4-year training program rather than X number of years to be a nurse, and then 1 year usually is a midwifery post-nursing degree. So in New Zealand, they go to school for 4 years to become a midwife, but they're direct entry. They pride themselves on not being medical. However, they're trained within the maternity system, the medical system. They do all the blood tests, they do everything, even if you're in another country where there are midwives who attend you at home, or midwives in the clinics or in the hospitals. They're all working within whatever evidence-based practice maternity system is there in your country or there at that time. I've lived through 3 of them. But midwives say that they give more time, particularly if they're continuity of care, that they'll see you during your pregnancy, in birth, and afterwards. And across the globe, when I talk to people across the globe, everybody wants continuity of care. They do not care who that person is. They don't care if it's an obstetrician. They don't care if it's a GP. They don't care if it's a midwife. Midwives are saying that's what they want to offer. But women don't care who it is. They would really like to see one person in pregnancy and at birth. And they don't really care whether it's the same person after the birth. They're fine with switching to someone else. But pregnancy and birth, they'd like the same person to be with them. So midwives have act and say. They are different than obstetricians, which is true. They don't do cesareans, and obstetricians do. Midwives can't do some of the procedures that obstetricians can do, but both can deliver or catch a baby. In fact, anybody can do that. In fact, you don't have to have anybody there if your baby comes out easily. So what should we expect of an obstetrician? Well, first of all, they see you during your pregnancy, and you will spend more time with them during your pregnancy than you will at the birth. They tend to come in at some point after you've gone into the hospital, and they will be there for the delivery. But usually it's the staff, whether it's obstetrical nurses or midwives, who come in every 2 to 4 hours and check you. They don't stay for long either, because often the ward where they're working has more women than you in labor. If you need to have an unplanned cesarean, or if you're going to have a planned cesarean, it's often different people who will work with you, because if you're going to go in and have a surgery, you may be admitted to a different ward. And when you come out, you'll be working with midwives or nurses that work with babies and with women after the birth. If you have a midwife who's coming to your home, then you have somebody who you have seen during the pregnancy and you want them to be at the birth. Sometimes they will come sooner and stay longer. In fact, in New Zealand, the continuity of care direct entry midwifery, the midwives say, we'll come when you want. They offer what's called 24/7 care. And this is something that our trust is constantly saying to them, no wonder you're so tired. No wonder so many midwives leave the practice. Because if you have to have in a year 40 to 60 clients in order to make a living, and you're giving people continuity of care in pregnancy and birth and afterwards, the fact is that you're tired if you attend women when they want them. Obstetricians, they just come and go, and after the birth, they leave shortly after they've delivered the placenta, make certain you're okay. Baby goes to a pediatrician or a GP or someone else. And then they come in and check you periodically. But you still feel grateful to them. And if you have a midwife at a home birth who spent hours and hours with you, then you still feel grateful to them. And you feel grateful that they gave you the time and energy. So why am I talking to you today about this? Because we're a charitable trust called Common Knowledge, and in the early 1970s, I and hundreds of families developed what is now known as the Birthing Better Childbirth Preparation Skills. And we did that at that time when things were changing. Most of us were going to obstetricians. Some of us were seeing midwives. They weren't legal in the U.S., but we found people who were willing to attend us at a home birth, and there were some birth centers as well. But what we discovered was that in the whole conversation about what to expect from the obstetrician and the midwife, we left out an important person, and that was ourselves. We really had no societal expectation that we, as birthing women, should be skilled to birth our babies. Being skilled to birth your baby doesn't mean you don't want or need or should have an obstetrician or a midwife. Being skilled to birth your baby means that that's the job you do. You do the activity of birthing your baby. We say, I'm going to have a baby or I'm going to be giving birth, but those verbs say nothing. But we do not go around and say, oh, my due date's in 3 weeks, and then I'm going to do the activity of birthing my baby. We don't have obstetricians and midwives who say to us, oh, you're due in a month. You need to learn some skills so you can do the activity of birthing your baby. Nobody says that. But we hope that will change because we need skilled mothers and fathers. Why? Because you're doing the activity of birthing your baby. And your obstetrician or your midwife or the staff in the hospital will do their job They will bring their skills to do the assessment, the monitoring, and if necessary, the procedures to safeguard the health and well-being of you and your baby. That's what their job is. They are skilled to do that. They are not skilled to do the activity of birthing your baby for you. Even if you're driving to the hospital, being prepped, and lying on a table to have a non-laboring cesarean, you are still doing the activity of birthing your baby. And why should that matter to you? Because it's your baby, and this is your baby's birth. And this is what Birthing Better Families woke up to. We are doing the activity of birthing our baby. An obstetrician will bring their skills, a midwife will bring their skills, but we are doing the activity of birthing our baby. And that can't be stressed enough. If we want to be with a midwife at a home birth, then we have several responsibilities. One is, don't have a problem like a delay in first or second stage and be able to cope with the naturally occurring pain. And next, be sensitive to the fact that this person who you said, please come and be with me, they have a family. They have other people that they're attending as well. So if you absorb them and you use them up, you're going to leave them tired. If you don't have the skills to prevent or reduce the potential of having a long dilation phase or a long second stage, and you end up transferring into the hospital, you may in some countries be putting them in legal jeopardy, but most likely you're just exhausting them. So our responsibility as women who want to have a home birth or a birth center birth is to become highly skilled so that we can learn to create space in our body for this big object that has to open us up, come down through and out. And that's what the Birthing Better skills are about. They're about the skills that we as mothers and fathers developed so that we could prepare our body to birth our baby. And then the birth and birth coaching skills so that we could cope and manage, deal with, work through, stay on top of, handle, and be in control throughout the birth, no matter where we birthed, no matter who was present, and no matter what was happening to us around us. So if there was a snowstorm and our midwife couldn't get there, we had the skills, even if it meant we were doing it on our own. If we got to the hospital and wanted a natural birth in the hospital and found ourselves having lots of medical assessments, monitoring procedures, and if we had the skills, we just got on with doing the activity of birthing our baby. We didn't necessarily like what was happening to her around us, but we realized this was the birth of our baby. And our baby deserves a mother and father that feel skilled to birth them. Being skilled doesn't mean you want to do it alone, but if you are going to do it alone, being skilled means you're reducing or preventing the possibility that issues can become major problems, and that's good. So what are most of the cesareans being caused by now, or most of the use of epidurals being caused by now? Just lack of skills. Why do women use epidurals? Because they don't have skills to deal with the pain. Simple as that. Why are they having cesareans? Because most often there's a failure to progress in first stage. Women aren't dilating quickly enough. And what's quickly enough? Reasonably. If you have a 12-hour active labor, a 15-hour active labor, that's reasonable. 24, it's reasonable for first-time mothers. What about 36? Or a labor that niggled and niggled and niggled for days, and you got so tired that when it became an active labor, you weren't coping or managing. So it's really essential that we become skilled. We're going to still be grateful for the obstetrician or the midwife who helped deliver our baby or catch our baby or helped to safeguard the well-being and the health of ourselves and our baby. Why wouldn't we appreciate them? But just think about it. How much more enthusiastic and inspired are these human beings who help us birth our baby? How much more inspired would they be if they saw 8 out of 10 skilled birthing women rather than 1 out of 20? How much more inspired would they be in their job if they saw 8 out of 10 skilled birthing fathers who could help you cope and manage and stay on top of this activity you're doing, rather than the 1 in 20? How much more inspired would they be? Would they compliment you? Oh, they'd kiss you. Of course they'd compliment you. They'd praise you. It's remarkable because so few people are skilled. Don't let that be you. Go forearmed and forewarned and full of skills. Would we like you to use the Birthing Better skills? Sure. They're real. They're developed by men and women. But there are other skills-based methods out there. What we do want you to do, regardless of what skills-based method you do use, is to write your birth plan of what you want and don't want, and write a skills